We're back with you. Tim Suji, who is the Forsyth County Board of Elections Director, is joining us answering all of your election-related questions. All right, so let's talk about redistricting because we are in an interesting situation this year.
Right. So the state courts approved new redistricted maps back in February of this year. And this may affect some of the voters depending on which district they currently reside in. Um, those new districts will actually not go into effect until after the election. So for the affected voters, they are actually currently being represented in one district, but will then be represented by the winner of their new district. So when they go to vote or when they go to cast their ballot, they'll probably question why they're seeing different candidates or a different district that's on their ballot, and that's why.
That is why. Okay. All right. So someone is asking, is it too late to mail in my absentee ballot?
No, it's not. The deadline to mail in the absentee ballot, again, as long as it's postmarked by Election Day, Tuesday, November 8th, and received by Monday, November 14th, we can accept and approve those absentee ballots. If you decide to bring it in person to your County Board of Elections office, you'll need to do so by Tuesday, November 8th at 5 p.m.
Okay, that's Election Day at the County Board of Elections office, not at a polling place. They cannot accept them. This person is asking, if I misspell a writing candidate's name, does it still count for that candidate?
As long as there's a close resemblance to the candidate's name, then the vote will go towards that candidate.
Okay. What happens if you're in line and the polls are about to close?
Right. So even though the law requires that the polls close at 7:30, the law also says that as long as you're in line by 7:30, those polling places must stay open to serve the remaining voters that are in line. So again, as long as you're in line by 7:30, you can still be able to cast your ballot.
Okay. Something that is interesting that Forsyth County has this year that many counties do not have is they have a candidate who is on the ballot who is deceased. And so people may be surprised that the ballot still says that. So tell me why that is.
Right. So according to state law, since we've already mailed out all the absentee by mail ballots and we've already started early voting, there's no time to reprint those ballots. And so the law states that the county executive committee of the candidate's party, the deceased candidate's party, will have to name a replacement before election day, and any votes that go towards that deceased candidate will now go towards the replacement candidate.
Okay, and then in Forsyth County, we're talking about Stan Elrod, and he was a candidate for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board. All right, let's move to this. People are getting these mailers, and they're interesting. They're either a report card of your own voting history, or it says, hey, this is how you and your neighbors voted, and we're sending it out to your other neighbors as well. A lot of folks are wondering, is this legitimate?
Right. So, we know that some of these communications can be confusing, and their primary purpose is to encourage voters to exercise their right to vote. And certainly, boards of elections offices, we share that goal, and we encourage voters to seek out trusted sources of elections information, which is the County Board of Elections office, as well as the State Board of Elections. So in order to just be careful of possible misinformation, again, I strongly encourage voters to rely on the trusted source of election information, which comes from the County Boards of Elections offices. I mentioned the State Board of Elections website earlier, which is ncsbe.gov. That's where you can go to find your voter registration information to make sure that it's up to date, where you can find your sample ballots and your voter history. And then, if you choose not to use the website, you can certainly call your local Board of Elections office to get any pertinent information from them.
Really quickly, they're a college student registered to vote in another county. Can I vote in Guilford County instead?
No, you must vote in the county that you currently reside at. That is where you are eligible to cast your ballot. In North Carolina, there's a 30-day residency law. So it states that if you lived in a county for more than 30 days before the election, that is where you are eligible to cast your ballot at.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. We appreciate it. We know that you have a long week next week, so thank you in advance for that. You'll be able to watch all of this in the Who Wants to Know section.